Hello YouTube, Wycliffe Barrett here, Xplane dedicated, continuing the beginner's guides of Xplane11. Today we're going to have a look at some more settings under the graphical user interface. We'll see you right after the intro.
Good afternoon to you. Report roasted. 2,000 feet.
In part 2 of the series Xplane11 for beginners, we're going to be having a look at some more intricate areas of the graphical user interface. So digging straight in here we are. You need to go up to these little bars up at the top there to click on there. You can see the cursor highlighting. Click on there and this takes you into another area of the user interface. As you can see, you've got languages, graphics, data output, joysticks, keyboard and GPS hardware. So the first one of course is languages, and I think there are 8 international languages there that you can choose, amongst them Chinese, Spanish, English, etc. Then flight models per frame. I have this set at 2. I've always had it set at 2. I've never increased it. Then below that you've got a number of other options that you can click on. Show ATC text on screen, a couple of other areas. Runways follow terrain contours. I have that turned off because I found that some airports have been created for contours, others have not, and it causes problems. Then over here on the right hand side you've got some data processes, so you can produce data in log text, and you can send anonymous data to Laminar Research, which I tend to leave on, so therefore if there's any bugs appearing they automatically go to Laminar. Then you've got some warnings here. Show main menu at sim launch. There's warnings about scenery not looking correct. And then down here you've got the damage button, and if you click this you will lose parts of your aircraft. If you're over speed, flap speed, you'll lose parts of your aircraft and fall out the sky, which has happened to me a number of times, especially on landing when I've got the wrong approach speed. So it's up to you. You can turn it on or off. It's entirely up to you. So that's the first of the settings pages, which is general. We'll have a look at some of the others, of course. Once you've done everything, you just click on done, and then that's it. So this is the sound, and this is all to do with volume. So you've got a master control, aircraft exterior, interior, co-pilot, radios, environmental, and user interface. Those are the general sounds. You can turn those up or down however you want. Air traffic control, of course, enable text in ATC messages, enable verbal ATC messages. You would only click those, of course, if you're using Xplane's own ATC system. I've never used it. It's not that good, or it's better than Xplane 10, but still not good enough, as they say. So those are the sound. Here we have graphics, and I'm going to come back to that, and it's going to have its own video, the graphics settings. Network, this is if you want to play multiplayer, so putting in your IP address and another person's IP address and having a multiplayer session, which is really good. It's very smooth, seamless. You see everything. You see gear going up and down, flaps moving, the lot. The other things are just around about data and networking your IP address. Next we have data output. This is where you find your FPS frame counter. It's the very first one on the top of the list. There it is. You click on that button and it will provide output on screen. So you'll see output on screen. All the rest of these data outputs are all to do with aircraft landing weights, wind speed, METARs, the lot. There's so many there. It's 100 and what's that, 135? So a lot. Here we have joystick configuration, and I'm going to go into this in a little bit of detail towards the end of the video, or shall we do this now? No, we'll do this now. So whatever joystick you've got, and I've got a Cytec X52, it will show up here represented graphically, and all the buttons are numbered, and as you click on a number it'll show you what you can apply to that, or you can apply anything, any function you want to any button you want. Okay, so typically I have mine set up with trim is on the numbers 6 and 7. I've got down at the bottom on the switches at the bottom on the base, I've got flaps and gear set up, and I have a number of views on different buttons as well. But you can, I mean, there's so many options there that you can just apply anything you want to those there. Very powerful, very useful configuration tool. There you go. 14 and 15 is my flap, so you know, one press down will be 1 degree of flap, and then one press up will be 1 degree of no flap. 12 and 13, that is my gear, so down for gear down and up for gear up. I haven't put anything on the 10 and 11 button on the far left there at the moment, but as I say, very easy to configure. You press on a number and then you go through the list and assign what you want to that particular key press. Of course, not forgetting that if you look up at the right hand side there with the silver button 23, 22 and 21, those are 3 positions, so you can have that number of buttons times 3. If you go over to Calibrate, you can then calibrate your throttle. So there's a number of buttons and small joysticks over here, and you can actually calibrate everything on here. I've got some XCam reviews on one particular button, some one little hat switch, which you can't see because it's the wrong view of the throttle, but you can change the view. There you are. So I've got XCam reviews on 4, 5, 6 and 7, which is a hat switch there, and that works really easy. Once again, you just click on the button, go over and choose what it is you want to assign to it. So there are different views. Very, very handy tool. I would say this is one of the better aspects of the new Xplane 11 interface. It's so configurable, and as I say, because of the rotating knob on the top of the joystick to the right, you can double, no, not double, you can treble the amount of buttons that you've got available. I can't remember how many it is exactly. It's something ridiculous, like 112 buttons that you could configure on an X52. Here's the keyboard, so you can actually then assign functions to keyboard commands. There are some default commands, and there is a text document within the Xplane directory that shows you what those default commands are, but you can configure it in any way you want. So your standard keyboard, which is 102 keys, you can create as many different combinations of key presses as you wish. So you could put QWE together to perform, I don't know, to turn your radios on, say. For every plugin that you put in, so there's the X camera, you can see all the commands there for X camera. They can be assigned to any key, or I could assign those to any button on my joystick. So the really, really powerful interface, the keyboard and joystick configuration interface. Very powerful indeed. As I say, I'll be coming back to the graphics in its own right. Once again, though, once you've got everything configured, then you can get Xplane looking pretty dang good. Some pictures here over the last couple of days with the weather. Just once again, my computer is powered by Wired to Fire. So wiredtofire.co.uk. This is a not paid for advertisement. It's just that I bought my machine from them. Hope you found the video useful. As always, this is Wycliffe Barrett, Xplane Dedicated. We'll see you soon. Yeah.